Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 110, and let's be honest, after a pretty friendly start to the season on paper, we're back today at the end of September for our first two big tests at Real Madrid. We go away to arguably the best side in Europe. I know they keep bottling the big trophies, but on paper, they've got the best team, Bayern Munich. And then we go away to Sevilla, who are third in the league. They've had a pretty solid start. But this is where Barca will perhaps start catching us. Because since that shaky start they had, they've been winning every game. And we've got a much tougher run of fixtures coming up in the next month or two. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, whether we can achieve our goals this year, get into a title race, and maybe even shock Bayern and top the Champions League group, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily FM22 videos. We'll be back tomorrow with the One Club story from Hemel. You can see the latest season of that up in the eye above. There's also a link to the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and of course the merchandise store too. Please do check all of them out if you haven't already. You can support the show down below by becoming a channel member and clicking the join button if you wish. But thank you as always for your incredible support. As there's only one story going into this game. I know we've got the tough ones to come up, but Arian Kalantari, I've said it for a long time, but what a star, seriously. If I go to the schedule, you'll see exactly what I mean, because he is the story of recent games. So you were with me for Vallecano and Feyenoord. We've only played 3 games off camera. Of course, after this, though, we're going to go a couple of months before coming back. But the first game after was the Kalantari show. We won 6-2 at Granada. We actually rotated for the first time, changed our starting lineup. We knew we were playing the bottom side. They didn't have a point. God, did we nearly get a scare for it. We went 1-0 down. We also got pegged back to 3-2. Pedro Neto got the first equaliser for us. One of the men who came in, then got injured not long after. But more importantly, look who scored the other 5 goals in the same game. Started with a penalty, then 4 fabulous finishes. Kalantari, the superstar, just one away from the double hat-trick. I mean, what a performance. And honestly, it was a pretty even game aside from that. And one of the fans on social media after, just to show you the standard of this club, afterwards said, yeah, he scored 5 goals, but what about all the missed chances? I mean, what an idiot, seriously. A 2-0 win, a bit more comfortable at home to Celta Vigo. Altmaier and Kalantari again with a late second. Didn't miss a penalty in that game though, so showed that he might be human after all. And then a 3-1 win at Espanyol, who are up in that European mix. An early Kalantari goal was pegged back, but Rihart restored the lead just before the break. We got a lucky escape as they had one disallowed in first half stoppage time. Very narrow offside. And then Pedro Neto, back from injury late on, got the third to wrap it up off the bench. But as you can see, there is a casualty from this game. Vinicius Jr. off injured. And it's not just one of those little knocks. He is out for 4 weeks. And given the fact these 2 games are the hardest of the season, don't really want to be missing one of that front 3. I think Pedro Neto can do the job. But when you consider the natural backup in Martinelli is out injured as well, when you consider that Koulibaly isn't registered for the Champions League, that because of the lack of homegrown players, and that because one of them got sold on deadline day, it leaves us in a little bit of a perilous area. So we're going to have to be at our best in the next 2 games, and I'm not sure we've got the squad to do it. We have tried to rotate gradually over the last week, but injuries have sort of dictated what we've been able to do. So with this one, it's going to be a little tougher to keep everyone fit. The good news though, we've got 5 days off after before we face Sevilla. So let's go and get into the first of those. We are top of the league, we are flying. The dynamics settling in pretty well now. But my concern comes as we face our 2 hardest games since we joined the club. Bayern Munich are of course a side we need to get a result against if we want to top the group. But given the win against Feyenoord, if we can do the same against AEK, I think we'd settle quite nicely for second, because getting through is the only achievement this season. And even the board only expect the last 16. So let's go through the tactical meeting, see who we've got available. I would imagine some changes might be recommended. There might be a few struggles with fitness. There's that star striker they've got up front. He's still going strong. Is the team fit? It is. But we're talking about a side that's fairly heavy on the match load. The only one that hasn't made it is Nianzou, the holding midfielder. Now, this is the first time we will have missed him this season. So what I've done is I've put Diallo in at centre-half and I've pushed up Juan Foyth into the holding role. Just because our only options in midfield really are Manuel at the moment. and that would be a much more attacking one. Yes, I could drop Antonio in, but he's not really the anchor man we're looking for. I'd rather that anchor be like a centre-half. You remember at Bristol City when we had injuries there, we pushed in Simon Kajar, the old centre-half from Denmark, and it worked really well, so I'm hoping the same will here. We'll probably have to drop mentality. I don't think we'll get away with positive. And the bench is literally the 7 fit outfield players. So we're down to the bare bones already. And with just 2 injuries and 1 ineligible player, that's a pretty worrying sign at this stage of the season. Milenkovic comes into the squad, only the 2nd time this season back from injury. Wrench isn't fit. Unai Alonso, we've mentioned, is nowhere near good enough. This is a real problem. We've got 5 defenders and not a lot going forward. So let's just see what we can do. Into the game we go. Bayern will be favourites. They've got that trio. Kim, the South Korean centre midfielder. Dennis, the number 10. Abdurrahman up front. And if there's any more quality across the side, we're going to find this a very long night. Well, all 3 of the players we mentioned are in the Bayern team, as is the Greek centre-half, who's superb. But there's still that hint of experience in there. You've got Damsgaard, Adeyemi, Havertz, Davis, and Upamecano. They seem to be sticking with experience quite a lot in this side, and I'm a little surprised about that. Nagelsmann continues to underachieve. The fact they're not winning the Champions League every year is a miracle with the squad they've got. So let's see how we get on against them in the first half. I'm going to drop to a balanced mentality because we don't want to go too aggressive against them. And hopefully we'll be able to get a shock result. Well, back about 13 minutes in as Kai Havertz picks up the ball in the middle. It's played through to Damsgaard, who gives Abdurrahman the run on the left. On his weak foot, he can't quite direct it in. Into the side netting it goes. No shots on target yet, but dominance ensuing from Bayern. And the issue we've got here really is we got battered with United at this ground a few times, 2 years in a row in fact. And I don't know that we're in any better shape with this Madrid squad. Well, we've done something better than there. We have never scored in this ground with Manchester United. We lost 3-0 both seasons. 1 year it cost us, the other year we'd already gone 5-0 up at home. But this one is a big goal. Rihar gets it running from midfield and we're 1 up with 15 gone. Now either these older heads in that Bayern defence are getting a year older or we're in a bit of trouble as Damsgaard comes down the left. Into the box he goes. At the byline, back to Havertz. Didn't last long, did it? 2 minutes later, Havertz puts it in. 1-1, and I'm sure it'll get tough again now. But it was nice while it lasted. At least we've scored. As we come back with a free kick on halfway, Sailmakers finding Antonio and Militao to Van Foyth, who's done okay in that holding role so far, but he loses possession and Dennis picks it up. Playing slightly deeper today, finds his Greek centre-half and into Kim, the midfielder. Wide to the right-hand side, Estevez can carry it. Instead goes back inside to Kim. They're keeping it simple. They're not rushing. They're waiting for the perfect opportunity as Havertz goes left to Davis. And he finds Damsgaard. Down the left he goes to Sailmakers. Back to Eder Militao. Finds Van Foyth. Into Diallo and Rihar and Foyth. Lovely play to Antonio, to Altmaier. Can't quite get there. Davis down the line. Altmaier intercepts again. It's getting a little bit scrappy in there. Rihar wins it now. Flicks down for Kalantari. Releases Neto. The replacement on the left. Oh, that's ambitious. Tries to dink the keeper. It's over the bar. We're 25 gone. We're not the better side by any means, but we're making a fist of it. And that in itself is pretty impressive. As we've got a free kick to defend on the left. Damsgaard in. It was too easy. Upamecano unmarked on the floor. Thankfully for us though, it's wide of the post. We survive another one. 11 shots for Bayern. But we've had the same amount on target. And with 10 to the break, I'm happy with the performance. And to be fair, the result as well. But we're back in first half stoppage time. Damsgaard's got a corner. Kim heads it just wide of the post. That would have been a hammer blow. It's not, thankfully. We've got some knocks to worry about in the middle. Altmaier's having a poor game. Rihar struggling, the goal scorer for fitness. And Regeri at left back isn't great either. So you can see the imbalance in the side. But if we can get the lads motivated and hang on for a point, it would be one hell of a result. And we've got a free kick with Kalantari. 30 yards out. Forces a great save. Wonderful effort from him. We've not seen much of him so far today. But that's because we've not been forward a lot. We've not had a huge amount of service. Though Neto puts the corner in. Rihar loses out. Falls for Altmaier on the right. Oh, that's awful. Just runs it straight out for a goal kick. And it stays 1-1. And we're back with Marcos Antonio. Just coming over halfway. Nearly gets robbed of possession, but it falls nicely for him. And Foyth founds Antonio. Up to Kalantari. That's a wonderful ball. Altmaier keeps it in. But can he dribble successfully this time? He does. into Rihar, who heads wide. We're actually coming on the stronger here. Neither side really fitter. You can see Antonio and Kim both struggling. And given that Antonio's on a yellow card, I am going to give him a rest as well. So he'll be replaced by Manuel. We haven't really got attacking subs though, so we do need to be careful. Altmaier's having a shocking game on the right, so the youngster Cervantes will get a run out for him. And at the left back, it's going to be Alfredo for Aguirre. And with a Bayern free kick in a dangerous position, this is not a good time for it. The sub has been made. Dennis with a free kick just wide of the post. Let's encourage the lads, because this is a really hard fought battling point at the minute. But can we hang on for it? As Damsgaard puts the corner in, Upamecano rises with a wonderful header. And unfortunately, despite our best efforts, it looks like we're going to fall in Germany. It's been a much closer game in terms of result. In performance terms, we've had the threat on the counter, but Bayern have been so much better in terms of creating shots. And Adeyemi gets in. Abdurrahman, just don't let it get away from us. The lads are out on their feet. Diallo, who we've had to bring in due to injury, has had a shocking game. Pedro Neto struggling for fitness. And Militao robbed on the edge of his own box, dallying on it. Then he can't foul him because he's on a yellow already. And Abdurrahman, one of the best strikers in world football, just glided into the corner. I think we've seen in today's game the difference between the sides in the bottom 2/3 of La Liga and Real Madrid against Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich are a stunning side, whereas the sides we've been playing, quite frankly, aren't. And this is what worries me for the Sevilla game. They are a side expected to finish in the top 6. They're currently in 3rd. And if they find up ahead of steam and we've got tired legs still, are we going to be able to get a result? I'm not so sure. As Damsgaard picks it up to Davis. Bayern have still got 15 minutes here. This game risks really getting away from us as Williams is in down the left-hand side. Gets to the byline. Back to Estevez. Oh, the collapse is real. And I'm going to have to make some tactical changes here. We'll be back in a minute, but I'm going to hang on now. Damage limitation. Well, we're back just half a minute later and Manuel's got the ball in the centre circle. Goes wide to Cervantes, the youngster. He goes wide to Kalantari, who's overlapping. The switch of play's poor, but Rihar keeps it in. He goes back to Alfredo. Don't get robbed. Goes back to Diallo, who's had an absolute stinker. But he does find a Real Madrid shirt there. Manuel to Neto, to Kalantari. And if there's one thing you can bank on, Arian Kalantari will give us respect. First real sniff at goal he's had today, and he takes it. 4-2, but it's not going to be enough. Consolation only. Bayern Munich have had 28 shots. We've only mustered 8. And although they haven't created too many clear-cut ones, we've gifted them a couple. We've been a bit pushed together and disjointed at the back. And if we had Nianzou there, maybe we could have got a result. But promising signs for the home game. Hopefully we can hold them in that one. We did ourselves proud, and the lads might be demotivated by that, but it's the realistic view of where we are as a club at the minute. We are not on Bayern Munich's level. The problem is we need to be on Sevilla's level. We'll be back in a moment to find out if we can be. We're back for fitness test time, and I know it's not a big deal for the first team, but we have got another longer term injury, which is the sub-goalkeeper Jay Gorta. We've also got a knock to Eder Militao, who probably won't be risked today, because we've got to think long game here. Now, we are the last game of the weekend, so we're about to find out if Barca have heaped the pressure on us. They haven't. I mean, this is ridiculous. Barcelona are dropping more points than they have for the last 8 or 9 years before we joined. I don't really understand it. We've mentioned it a few times this year. The AI squad management is awful. Sevilla the same, were doing really well, but since they've come into the Champions League group stages, not only have they not done that well in them, they've then suffered the weekends after as well. So we'll be hoping the same happens here. Atletico Madrid win, Real Sociedad are pushing their way back up as well. But I don't know what's happening to Barcelona. I showed you some of the points totals they'd had in recent years. There's no way they were dropping this many points. So let's see what we've got available for today. Is everyone fully fit in terms of fatigue? They are, but Militao's got a knock. I'm not going to risk it. Foyth will drop back into defence. Nianzou will come back in the holding role. And then on the bench, Koulibaly will replace probably Unai Alonso, as he's the weakest player there. And we need to be at full strength. So this, as a result, is our squad for today. The only change is Foyth dropping into centre-half, Nianzou in for the injured Militao. It's a first teamer for first teamer, isn't it? So we can't complain too much. But again, we're down to the bare bones. It's the 18 plus a greyed out goalkeeper and Unai Alonso. It's not looking too good, is it? We're going to try and get a result. If we do, we've got a real lead at the top of the Liga. What Barcelona are doing, I don't know. But we need a better performance from some of those replacements today. Diallo certainly being one of them. Into the first half we go. Sevilla v Real Madrid. Big top of the table clash. And it's Philip Clement in charge of Seville. Who have they got in their side? Thorsby still there. Alexis McAllister. And aside from that, a fairly young side, I think. So let's go and get through into the first half. We're going to tell the lads to prove a point. But things are going pretty well. We came up against the best side in Europe and lost. That can happen to anyone. What we need to do is bounce back against what's probably one of the top 4 rivals in Spain. And whether we can do that against a younger side, we have had an extra day's rest, so that might be helpful. But in this first half, we know we can get a big lead in a title race. Hang on a minute. Look at this game up here. Villarreal 2, Valencia 1. Valencia, red card 87 minutes. Goal 93 minutes. Villarreal, goal 90 plus 4, then goal 90 plus 5. Holy smokes, have you ever seen anything like that in your life? That is ridiculous. The Barcelona one was a little bit calmer, but they did miss a penalty as well. And early doors here, it's been very quiet, but we have now got a free kick. Can that man deliver again? Oh, he's just unstoppable. All bow to Arian Calantari. This man might be making his save a bit easier. There is something that happens when we're managing him. He might be the most successful striker I ever end up managing in any edition of FM. What a legend. Oh, we're 10 minutes to the break. There's only actually been 2 shots in the match. Sevilla have their first there. What a save that is. So the first one saved by Farinez. He gets a strong hand to it. The second one hits the line and he almost does the Seaman Pesquisolido scoop again. Absolutely stunning. And at half time, in an even game, we lead thanks to a wonder strike from Calantari and maybe an even more wonderful save from Vilca Farinez. And how he's only got a 6.9 rating after that, I don't know. It warrants a 7.5 on its own. Let's get into the second half. Hope we can hold on. Maybe take advantage of a set piece like this one as Neto's corner headed away. It was in a good area though. And Alonso gets it back. Or Antonio, sorry, gets it back. And it's cleared as far as Ruggieri. He can play down the left-hand side to Rija, who's just drifted wide a little here, and he's got space to run into. Finds Calantari with a good through ball. Cuts it back to Pedro Neto. Good save to Antonio. It's another great double save. They're happening at both ends now. And we're just not able to find that second goal, but in truth, we probably not deserved it. Altmaier's really struggling with the armband. That's something I've noticed with Militao out and with Nianzou in the week. But we're just going to see out this highlight before we make the changes because you know my superstitions there. As Texera at right back for Sevilla. Finds Sol and up towards the centre forward, Baldomero. Holds it up well, finds Fresi and Texera. Sevilla trying to get on the attack, really take the game to us. Texera's beaten 2 at the moment, gets down the wing. Nianzou in a really good position to mop up. That's perfect anchorman play. Then plays the simple pass to Antonio. He plays a much better and more exciting pass. Calantari released down the left. Beats 2, cuts it inside to Rija. Back to Calantari again. Lovely cross for Altmaier. And he heads just over the bar. 1-0. This could go either way. But as Sevilla continue to press and attack us, it probably suits us down to the ground. I'm going to take off largely the opposite players to the week to keep everyone fit. So Rehart will be replaced by Manuel. He will go into Antonio's role. Antonio will swap to Mazzala. Altmaier will be replaced by young Cervantes. And then at the back, Alfredo maybe for Aguirre. I think that might be the best option we've got. Pedro Neto's not had a great game either. I don't have any attacking players on the bench. The only thing I can think is to put Sailmakers up there on the left wing, which he can do very well. And then at right back, we'll bring on Sofoso, who is a little bit nervous. It doesn't really help. But hopefully he can still do the job. 25 to go, 1-0 up. Calantari's nearly scored another free kick there. But let's keep encouraging the lads. Let's keep getting them on the front foot. And hopefully we can nick a second goal somewhere. But I think Sevilla are down to 10 because they made their subs and then got an injury. Diallo heads away a free kick though and it's out to Calantari on the left. Again, the match winner as it stands. Cuts it back into Sailmakers. Finds him again. Calantari into the box. They can't touch him now. Goes back to Antonio. That's a good sliding challenge to Kalantari, who's still wide left. Antonio in, it's intercepted by Thorsby, but only as far as Diallo, who can start the attack again. Not been brilliant, but had a much more steady game today as Diallo the youngster. He finds Nianzou and Manuel to Cervantes the youngster. Sofoso overlapping, back to Cervantes. What a moment that is for him. First goal of the season for the youngster, playing more than I'd like him to as he scores his first Real Madrid goal. But he's done the job. Fair play to him. With Vinicius injured, we need one of those youngsters to step up, and he has, as Foyt goes back to Farinez. It looks like the title is going to hinge on the two Barcelona games. If they beat us in both and then start finding consistency, we're going to be in trouble. And of course, we've got to play Almeria. We've got to play Atletico Madrid. And we've got to hang on in this game yet. I'm talking like it's won. Valdomero has half the deficit with 10 minutes to go. And we're looking tired back there. This is not over yet. Though we're into 5 minutes of stoppage time. We've got a free kick with Regueri. Diallo's header is wonderfully saved by the keeper. Back in again, headed clear. And now Sevilla can counter. They've got 4-on-3 here. What on earth are we doing? Minano gets down the right wing. Chance to cross, goes back to Texera, into Fresi. We better not concede from this. Into the box, Nianzou hacks clear. Right, drop the mentality. Time waste all the time. And slow the pace down. You all know the drill. In fact, we'll drop that attacking and defensive line back as well. Let's just make sure we see this out. We need to learn the dark arts too. We cannot afford to throw games away. With 5 minutes of stoppage time played though, Arian Kalantari and a first Real Madrid goal for Thomas Cervantes have given us the 3 points we need to stay top of La Liga and really start to push in this title race. Barcelona are disappointing, yes, but we've got to take advantage. And our first big test of the league season, probably the first side in that top 6 we've played. In fact, the top 7 because we haven't played Villarreal. And we've won it. Okay, it was narrow. Okay, we were hanging on in the end. But we've won it. We've got the points on the board. Now what we've got to do when we play the likes of Atletico and the likes of Barcelona is make sure we stay consistent and avoid defeat. Let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. We've got an international break now. We're going to try and fly through the next couple of months. And we're going to get back for Bayern Munich at home in the Champions League. I'm tempted to skip Almeria and then show Atletico. But Almeria were the third favourites for the title, ahead of Atletico Madrid. So I feel like they've got a good side and we should show that one. So we're going to be back for 2 of those last 3 games of the month. I mean, if we've won the other 2 games against AEK, maybe we'll just show the 2 league games. It will depend on results elsewhere. We got humbled at Bayern Munich, yes, but away to Sevilla, that is a crucial 3 points. If you enjoyed it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what on earth's happening to Barcelona. Is it just not being arrogant here? Is it the fear factor of me as a manager? Because I don't really know what else it can be. They've been dominant in this division for years. And now they're dropping silly points where they never were previously. If you want to stay up to date though and find out how we get on as the big games approach, look at that spell at the end of November, then December. Barcelona, final in the Champions League. Barcelona in the Super Cup at the start of January. It's where things could get a little bit tricky. If you want to see how we get on, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily FM22 content. We've got the Hemel Save back tomorrow. You can find the latest season of that in the eye above. There's also links to the Twitch channel, the football podcast with EFL playoff predictions galore the next few weeks. And finally, the merchandise store is up there too. New products getting added all the time, so keep your eyes on those. But above my head now, we'll put the latest season of the Hemel Save. Please do check it out if you haven't already. And a massive thank you for watching. I'll see you here again in a couple of days' time as we start to play the really big boys.